Alright guys, so here's the review of the San Martin SN008G. So this is an homage of the Black Bay 58, but you might think you've seen this one before. You haven't actually seen it though. This is the version 2. So they've changed, well, there's one main big change, spoiler alert, and it's the end links. They're now female. So I didn't jump on the first one because of the male end links and it being quite a large lug to lug. So now they've changed it to female ones, I jumped on it pretty much, especially when they contacted me and said, would I be interested in reviewing one? So full disclosure, I didn't get it for free, but I did get a discount. I think it was worked out to just about half, maybe a bit more. So you know the score though. It's not going to change the way I do my reviews. I'm going to keep it 100% honest all the time, no matter what. So the question is that enough of a difference to justify the price? Because obviously these aren't cheap, but we tend to know that San Martin make pretty good watches. So is this one of them? Let's get down to it and find out. So here's the box you'll get in, the usual San Martin one. Not going to talk about that. Talked about it in enough previous videos. And here is the watch itself. So before I get into this properly, I'm going to talk about this bracelet. So I'm going to zoom in. So we've actually got a double screw system on this. So we've got one on one side, one on the other. So the way it works, they actually provide you with a couple of these little screwdrivers in the box. So you've got to have one in one side, hold it there. It's best if you lie the watch down. Pop one in one side, hold it, put the one on the other side and then turn it. Bit fiddly, but luckily you've only got to do it the once. But it's definitely not my ideal method of doing it. I prefer the single screw system. But it does look good. But I think they could have got that same effect. Probably with a single screw, possibly. But anyway, as for the rest of the watch, so the main thing, like I said in the intro, is this now has female end links. So that brings down that lug to lug. So let's get onto the measurements straight away. So we've got a thickness of 11.6, diameter of 40.4, lug width of 20, and then the all important lug to lug is now down to 48. So it's under that magical 50 for most people if you've got a 7-inch wrist. And I think with that kind of size it's probably going to fit people with maybe like a 6.5-inch wrist possibly. But let me know down in the comments what lug to lug size you think is ideal for your wrist size and what your wrist size is obviously. But anyway, getting back to this, let's go zoom in on the dial. So we've got fully applied indices, and we've also got that applied San Martin hexagonal logo. Snowflake hands as well. And they're all really nicely proportioned, fit the dial size nicely. So if we're going to zoom back out, talk about this bezel. So it's 120 click ceramic bezel. Absolutely zero play in it. But it is a little bit sharp. Lines up perfectly though. But as I said, if I'm going to zoom in on this, it's got a coin edge, but it is just a touch sharp. Also, there's a couple of little bits on these lugs on the inside there on that little edge. That's a touch sharp. And a couple of these on the edges have a little bit of a sharp edge. So something to be aware of. It's not overly sharp. The bezel is a touch sharp. Those lugs a tiny bit. But it shouldn't be an issue. You shouldn't be touching that bit too much, so it should be alright. And when you're wearing it, you don't really notice it. But just thought I'd mention it. So the movement in this is actually a PT5000. But they do actually have it with an SW200 as well, if you prefer the Swiss version. So we've got no date window on this, so we've actually got a ghost date position. Pop it out once, that would be where the date is. Pop it out again, second hand stops, we've actually got hacking. And then we can change the time obviously. And then pop it back in, second hand ring gauges. And we've got hand winding and all the good stuff. And it is high beat, so we've got that sweep in second hand. I do like these movements. I know some people aren't keen, but It's a clone of an ETA movement, same as the SW200. And so far with the ones I've had, I've not had any issues, and I've got a few now. So as for the rest of the case, we've got a fully brushed case and then just chamfered edges, just to break it up slightly, which I do quite like. It's all nicely finished as you'd expect with San Martin. And then the bracelet is fully brushed, again, with polished little end pieces, just to tie in with that chamfered edge, so it follows it right the way down. And again, onto the clasp as well, which has that nice San Martin logo in it, and it's got plenty of micro adjust. And then it's milled as well. Got a sterile case back, solid end links, and it's all solid. No issues with that at all. When it comes to the crown, it is actually signed, but I'm not overly keen on this S. The way they've stylised it, I think it looks like a dollar sign, so not really keen on that. Hopefully they can come up with a better one than that in future. Personally, I'd like to just have the hexagonal thing on there. If you're going to put it everywhere else, why not put it on the crown too? So now let's test whether we've got sapphire crystal on this. Using the trusty diamond selector 2. And yep, we have got sapphire crystal, which is always good. And it is a, well, slightly domed or almost box type crystal on it. It's not completely flat, so it adds a nice bit of distortion around the edge. Do you like that? And it is just really nice looking piece, I think. The finishing, as we've come to expect from San Martin, is just top notch. Granted, you're paying quite a bit more than a lot of AliExpress watches, but you're getting a lot more watch. So, speaking of which, let's show you what the Lume's like. So you can see we've got quite a bit there already, but let's charge it up, give it a proper chance. So we've got really good lume on this, really nicely evenly spread, no patchiness at all. It's consistent across the hands and the indices and that lume pip too. And again, with it being San Martin, you know you're going to get good lume. It's just a step above most other AliExpress watches, as I keep saying, as a lot of the other parts of this watch are. So really good lume. Not going to worry about that at all. Oh, before I show you on wrist, I quickly forgot to mention, if you don't like that hexagonal logo on the dial, you can actually get it sterile, if you prefer that. But personally, I think it looks better with that logo. Just a bit too much empty space otherwise, especially with having the automatic in 200 meters at the bottom. Not having anything at the top, I think looks a bit odd. But anyway, let's show you what it's like on wrist. And this is what it looks like on my 7-inch wrist. So with those female end links now, it wears really nicely. Because with having such a flat case, I think you just need them. Because otherwise, it's just far too big for most people, I think. And again, really nice finishing overall. No issues whatsoever. Loving all the little chamfered edges, little details, polished bits. Just love it, absolutely love it. So if you're after one of these, links are down in the description as always. I've actually got a discount code down there as well, and that'll give you $20 off. So obviously if you get it in the sale, you get $20 extra on top of that. So I think you're going to get a good deal if you do want one. But that's it for this one, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.